another idea that was new that I hadn't heard of before that I thought it was, definitely made me scratch my head and think about maybe implementing myself was the idea of considering offering a free listing. Happy Monday, J.C Agajanian here with the Whissel Realty Group, recapping the Monday morning mastermind that the Fast Forward movement puts on each Monday. And today we've got three great topics for you. First of all, someone wanted to know what you got to do to break into the luxury market. Another person wanted to have some of the members of the group elaborate on the CMA A day strategy that has been mentioned in the past. And finally, we've got some general questions about follow-up practices for leads. So let's get into the first one right away. First of all, breaking into luxury. Well, if you've already got a little bit of decent momentum, and I hope you do if you're considering breaking into luxury, the idea is going to be to do the same activities that got you some success there, just do them in a higher price market. You're already going to be doing your door knocking, your phone calls, you're going to be doing your follow-ups, you're going to be doing open houses, you're going to be doing the things that generate business. So let's go ahead and redirect all that effort into a market that is going to have price points that you're driving towards. It's a little oversimplified, but that was the first response that some of the pros came in with on this subject of breaking into the luxury market. Another idea is something that we've implemented in our own business, which is the concept of a really nice invitation. Think wedding style invitation to a simple neighbors only event. Usually you'll get a postcard from a realtor or something, kind of cheap and quick that's done. But if you take the time and print out nice cards that are stuffed with a live stamp and hand addressed and sent to that person, it's going to get opened. And even if it doesn't, the likelihood of it getting opened is so much greater than any other piece of mail you could send to somebody. So the wedding style invitation to a neighbors only event, have a happy hour, have some food or drink or something that you're going to provide and make it special and exclusive. That's a great way to open up a new listing on the first day that the public has access to this property. You've made an exclusive event for those neighbors only. In addition, you've got signs all over the place all the time. You're really getting busy and driving yourself into that neighborhood. If there's a local neighborhood directory, some small publication, make sure you can get into that. And another idea that was new that I hadn't heard of before that I thought it was, definitely made me scratch my head and think about maybe implementing myself was the idea of considering offering a free listing to an owner in this exclusive neighborhood. So wait, that's counterintuitive, right? The whole idea is to make money, but it was a marketing piece that was mentioned. So you go and you create something that looks like a lottery ticket, and you either charge for them or you advertise in maybe the local elementary school, and there's strings attached. Someone who wants to be entered into this lottery to win a free listing of this exclusive high-end property needs to show up at a specific open house or at a specific event, do something to show up in person so you're driving more traffic to whatever that event is that you're doing, and then they're actually putting that ticket in the bin, and then there's still no guarantee. You're not promising them a free listing. They're entered for a chance to win a free listing. So gosh, if someone's going to go through that effort, that whether or not they win that free listing, you're going to want to follow up with them. So that was another great idea that I thought was a pretty genius piece of marketing. Hey, if there's an HOA board in your neighborhood, join it, right? Get involved, make yourself known. Another idea is to use HomeBot. If you are not familiar, HomeBot is a great tool that automatically updates homeowners with the value of their home. It gives them options. It analyzes their rates, if they should consider refinancing depending on where market rates are at. And it gives you tips on when people are looking at this thing, if they're engaged or not, for better knowledge of what these people in your database are doing. That's almost free. It's like $50 a month or something like that. It's not that expensive, but there is an actual free version you can use by kind of manipulating the system and using core fact. And so feel free to DM me about that as well if you're interested. So, just because we're talking about the luxury market doesn't mean that you can't do some of the tried and true methods. One of them is expireds. Expired listings happen in the high-end market just as much as they do in entry-level and average price market in your area. Some people might say that they happen a little bit more because oftentimes high-end properties considered luxury, which are significantly more expensive than the median home price in that area, may take more effort, may be more unique to specific owners. So expireds could be a good tool in this, even in this luxury market that you're looking to get into. Of course, you're going to also want to do the things like we started off with, which is bringing a strong, unique selling proposition, door knocking, and carrying on with all the important pieces of the information. Do a bit of competitor research. Know who is winning and who's not winning in your market, and figure out maybe what you do differently, maybe something that you do a little bit better than them, and circle back to my last point, which is bringing a strong USP and really separate yourself out from the person that they've become familiar with in that area. On the same topic of separating yourself out, you know, a lot of these luxury markets are going to have the old guard. They're going to have people that are going to be sipping martinis at the club, and they're doing their networking, and because they've been doing it for 50 years, they just kind of have an expectation. But we want to come in and say, we're bucking this trend. Yeah, maybe we haven't been ingrained in this, yacht club or tennis club or golf club for 20 years, but we're also not going to throw your home on the market and let it sit, tell you a number that's too high to get you to sign, and then ask you to reduce time and time again. We do things differently. We've got a track record of success, and you just lay out what's going to make you differently. You are not the old guard. You are not the country club networker. You're someone new and better, and you need to be able to articulate that. So another great tip on breaking into the luxury market, what do sellers want? They don't really want realtors. What they want is buyers for that home so they can be free to go do what they want next, whether that's buying another home or moving across the country, or doing whatever it is they have in mind. They want buyers. So how are we going to bring some luxury buyers? Well, I got a couple ideas for you. First of all, reach out to the top selling agents in that area. Let them know you're putting a massive effort in to go out prospecting in this area, and who do you have and what do they need? Now you've got a specific identity. You've got an avatar, one buyer here, maybe a different buyer here, and a different buyer here. And you can use that when you're going out with your snail mail efforts, with your phone call efforts, with your door knocking efforts. You've got buyers in mind, and you have the contact information of how to reach those buyers because it's another agent that you reached out to. Another great way to bring buyers to luxury sellers is to just go to a local pitch session. There's always a caravan or a weekly meeting for the area. And usually one of the topics that comes up in that meeting is buyer needs. Of course, we've always got new listings to talk about and various things going on. But one of the topics in these caravans is always buyer needs. So you just take some notes, make a note of who brought that up, and you can use that same information that we just talked about to go out. And now you are someone who actually has high-end luxury buyers to talk about when you're talking to these potential sellers. I thought that was a great idea. Another on the same topic of bringing buyers instead of sellers, which is kind of what you're focused on, is to just start working buyers in that area. Do all you can to collect buyers who are looking to move into that area because, first of all, down the road, buyers become sellers. So that's a long play. But in the short play, you're actually giving yourself a ton of knowledge on the market by actually doing the work, showing homes. You're going to be able to remember homes that you've been in the area. And you're going to get a paycheck when someone buys, and B, you're educating yourself even more on this new luxury market that you're trying to break into. Which leads to another important piece of information, which is to be sure to speak from knowledge. We've got to know the market. You've got to know the data. You've got to know the details. And if you have even more kind of insider info, it'll go even farther. So, who is that seller over there? Do they own this company or that company, or where do they work, or where are they from, or where are they off to? A little bit of personal information about specific homes in the area will go a long way to making the people in that market know that you're actually one of them. You know what's going on in the area, and you have insider information. More than anything on this subject, it's about the mental game. The decision comes first. You've got to be resolute that when you've decided to go in on luxury, that Everything you do, any efforts outbound that you make are going to be focused on this new price point. Of course, you're going to take deals that fall in your lap, past clients, referrals, whatever they may be. You'd be dumb to throw away money, right? But as far as phone calls, mailers, door knocking, open houses, all the normal efforts you're doing have got to be in this new area, and you won't do that anywhere else. So that's kind of the final point on breaking into the luxury market. Now we're going to elaborate on the quote unquote CMA a day strategy that has been talked about more than once here in the fast forward movement. So basically, the idea is to just get lots of CMAs out in front of lots of people all the time. It doesn't have to be elaborate. You don't have to be hand selecting every single comp and making sure that it's the most accurate thing. And you don't even have to give a specific price. Simple range would do, and in some cases, no price at all. Just the data about the CMA is good enough. So the idea is to, first of all, not belabor the report itself. Figure out how to quickly and easily get it produced. And then you're going to start with, who are you going to send these to? Well, the no-brainer thing that you should be doing anyway is sending it to your past clients each year. You got to start with someone who's owned for at least a couple of years. And then usually what I do is each year I'm going to go ahead and update them with a new report, and I actually physically door knock it and drop it on their door. I show up out of the blue. I don't have an appointment, even though they know me, even though I've worked with them. I helped them buy that house. I just knock and show up. If I miss them, I leave it, follow up later. If not, I have a great conversation and usually end up spending more time in that home than I even want to, because I've got 5 other CMAs to drop that day. But it happens and it's good. Another way to do it for people that are not your past clients is to shoot it via email and then include a cover letter that says you're going to be following up, and then go ahead and follow up. Text them, make a phone call. I like to use High Note because it's trackable. It tells me when people are clicking on things, when they're looking at individual reports within the total link. But sending those emails out with CMAs on a regular basis is a great way to get in touch with sellers who maybe you haven't been in touch with before, and that's another great way to break into a new area if that's what you're doing. We haven't spent a lot of time talking about the next idea, but the concept of an adopt-a-buyer campaign really dovetails nicely into this CMA a day plan. So if you're not familiar with what the adopt-a-buyer campaign is, it's basically the idea that you did a great job as a listing agent, you got the home sold, and another agent brought the buyer. And we know that most agents are not doing the best follow-up in the world. So that's where we can step in and use our systems and our structure to go ahead and follow up with them in their place. So, start off with like a congratulatory snail mail or email if you have the information. You can offer information like local utilities, service providers, telecom information as well. We also saw a great example of how to deliver keys and door clickers and all the things that go with homes. Brand it, make it on a nice cardstock so it'll stick around, and stick those keys down so the ones that are extras and spares that maybe they're not using hopefully will stay on that piece of paper that's branded in some junk box or something like that and not go away. And eventually over time, if you're installing your CMAs, if you're doing your anniversaries, when they bought the home, if you can get on some sort of public directory and find out, if they're married or birthdays, add all those things into your automatic snail mail system. I use Postable to go out, and now this Adopt a Buyer campaign is going out, and you're just doing nice things for this someone as though they were your client, even though they were someone else's client. If and when they need to do something in the future, there's a good chance that their agent has done zero, and that you've been the one following up, taking care of them, being available for questions or comments on anything. And there's a good chance you're going to get that phone call instead of anybody else that they may have forgotten. Another thing to do as far as the CMAs is to maybe focus on non-owner occupied properties in your area. The same ideas apply. You're just telling them what's going on in the market. You're identifying the fact that the public-facing portals like Realtor.com and Zillow and Trulia and Redfin are not the most reliable, that you're an actual real estate professional and you've made this for them, and you send it out to them. And that's pretty much it. CMA a day is a great challenge if you want to implement that into your office. to figure out what list you're going to go through and just start ripping through them as fast as you can. And everyone that is in this mastermind that has done this has said that it kicks out returns in short order. I don't know what the numbers are. I'm trying to remember, but I think they're somewhere between, I don't know, like 10, 20, 30 CMAs, and you'll at least get a phone call. And these things are going to yield fruit if you do them consistently, like just about any marketing that we have. So that's it for the CMA A day thing. Let's go ahead and skip forward to follow-up strategies for nurturing leads. So first of all, we talked about the three primary legs of conversion. So first of all, we've got to be getting quality leads in the door. If they're absolute trash, then it's just a big waste of time. We've got to have great sound systems and technology to assist our efforts, because in this day and age, simply sitting down and hammering these leads with phone calls, emails, and text messages to the degree that is necessary to make contact is going to take up all your time. You're not going to have any time to do all the other work that you need to do in your business. So we rely on systems and tech like that. In our business, we actually have AI carrying out full conversations via text message. We have great automations that go as well, so that when the person actually wants to talk on the phone, I'm free to do that. And then that comes to the final leg of conversion, which is a solid agent ability to convert. So you've got to have real conversations, not just salesy ones. And another topic that was brought up on this subject is the idea of using text over email. Apparently, well, not apparently, I know this, you know this, a lot of email just gets ignored or filtered out to spam, even if they don't want to. That happens a lot of the time. And then we were talking about using text instead of email, and the idea of suspicious text messages coming in and scammers and everybody stealing identities and everything. So people are even reluctant to click a link if they don't know the number. So then a great way to overcome that was brought up, which is, let's go ahead, do a screen grab of this photo of the listing that we're talking about and shoot it to them and ask them, what, if they're interested in the property, or some probing question about that, just so that they know who they're talking to and that they can feel comfortable clicking on a link if you send it to them again, or actually responding to the questions that you're asking them about that property. So, listen to pain points and, know how you can provide value on that subject to really help make their lives easier. You've got to make it a genuine conversation. We don't want to sound salesy. Hey, this is J.C from Whissel Realty. Blah, blah, blah. Let's talk like normal people talk. The way I'm talking to you right now, that's the way anybody wants to be spoken with. And so you've got to try, and if you've got any hint of that sales voice when you're on the phone with people, lose it. You got to talk like a normal person, and really take the mentality that you're talking to your new best friend. And we had an example of somebody who actually did make a new best friend and ended up wakeboarding with a potential client within a couple of weeks of a lead coming in. I mean, they had boats in common, they had a sport in common, and they actually did end up being friends. So if we take that attitude, that each person you're talking to could be your new best friend, there's a much higher chance of just a genuine connection, talking about real estate, and who knows, maybe the off chance that you could actually be making a new friend. So the final thought on this one is just to make sure that you're following up more than once between now and the appointment. If you've got an appointment set on a Tuesday and it's not till Friday and you wait till Thursday night, well, I mean, that's a few days that go by there. So maybe shoot a text in between there. Be in communication with the person when you're making appointments with people. Just, again, with the interest of being a genuine person who's not just salesy, not just has one agenda, but actually expressing interest in their life, thinking of them about properties that come in. Hey, what'd you think about this one? Hey, I really don't like this one for you, but it's because of X, Y, and Z. I think we'll find something without that in the near future. Whatever the case may be, stay in contact with them. So that's all we got for the day. I hope you found this helpful. And as usual, if you would like to join the mastermind yourself, feel free to send me a DM and I can get you an invitation. Talk to you soon.